While it is true that the war was conceived in Berlin, it is nonetheless true that it was born in the Balkans. It is necessary, in order that we may view with correct perspective the background of the World War, that we gain some notion of the Balkan states and the complications entering into their relations. These countries have been the adopted children of the great European powers during generations of rulers. Russia assumed guardianship of the nations having a preponderance of Slavic blood. Romania, with its Latin consanguinities, was close to France and Italy. Bulgaria, Greece, and Balkan Turkey were debatable regions, wherein the diplomats of the rival nations secured temporary victories by devious methods. The Balkans have fierce hatreds and have been the site of sudden historic wars. At the time of the declaration of the World War, the Balkan nations were living under the provisions of the Treaty of Bucharest, dated August 10, 1913. Greece, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Montenegro were signers, and Turkey acquiesced in its provisions. The assassination at Sarajevo had sent a convulsive shudder throughout the Balkans. The reason lay in the century-old antagonism between the Slav and the Teuton. Serbia, Montenegro, and Russia had never forgiven Austria for seizing Bosnia and Herzegovina and making these Slavic people subjects of the Austrian crown. Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey remained cold at the news of the assassination. German diplomacy was in the ascendant at these courts, and the prospect of war with Germany as their great ally presented no terrors for them. The sympathies of the people of Greece were with Serbia, but the Grecian court, because the Queen of Greece was the only sister of the German Kaiser, was wholeheartedly with Austria. Perhaps at the first, the Romanians were most nearly neutral. They believed strongly that each of the small nations of the Balkan region, as well as all of the small nations that had been absorbed but had not been digested by Austria, should cut itself from the leading strings held by the large European powers. There was a distinct undercurrent for a federation resembling that of the United States of America between these peoples. This was expressed most clearly by M. Jonesco, leader of the Liberal Party of Romania, and generally recognized as the ablest statesman of Middle Europe. He declared, "I always believed and still believe that the Balkan states cannot secure their future otherwise than by a close understanding among themselves, whether this understanding shall or shall not take the form of a federation. Nor one of the Balkan states is strong enough to resist the pressure from one or another of the European powers. For this reason, I am deeply grieved to see in the Balkan coalition of 1912 Romania not invited. If Romania had taken part in the first one, we should not have had the second one. I did all that was in my power and succeeded in preventing the war between Romania and the Balkan League in the winter of 1912-13. I risked my popularity, and I do not feel sorry for it. I employed all my efforts to prevent the Second Balkan War, which, as is well known, was profitable to us. I repeatedly told the Bulgarians that they ought not to enter it, because in that case we would enter it too. But I was not successful in my efforts. During the Second Balkan War, I did all in my power to end it as quickly as possible. At the conference at Bucharest, I made efforts, as Mr. Pasic and Mr. Venizelos know very well, to secure for beaten Bulgaria the best terms. My object was to obtain a new coalition of all the Balkan states, including Romania. Had I succeeded, this situation would be much better. No reasonable man will deny that the Balkan states are neutralizing each other at the present time, which in itself makes the whole situation all the more miserable. In October 1913, when I succeeded in facilitating the conclusion of peace between Greece and Turkey, I was pursuing the same object of the Balkan coalition. On my return from Athens, I endeavored, though without success, to put the Greco-Turkish relations on a basis of friendship, being convinced that the well-understood interest of both countries lies not only in friendly relations, but even in an alliance between them. The dissensions that exist between the Balkan states can be settled in a friendly way without war.
The best moment for this would be after the general war, when the map of Europe will be remade. The Balkan country that would start war against another Balkan country would commit not only a crime against her own future,